Hey guys, welcome to the Powerful Man Show, where we help married businessmen save their marriages without having to talk about it, get unstuck, and gain clarity in their lives. As I like to say, life is too short for average. I'm your host, Doug Holt. Now let's get this started. Hey guys, welcome to the Powerful Man Show. I have a special treat for you. We are going to get a woman's point of view on the 3 reasons your wife is withholding sex from you. I have my special guest here, Nanette. Nanette is one of our advisors. She is one of the ladies that actually, when you call up the Powerful Man and inquire about it, she may be somebody that you actually get the opportunity to talk to. And what makes this unique is you're going to get a woman's point of view. So not just mine, not just another guy, but we're actually going to hear right from the source. And Nanette wrote an ebook. It's still being edited and worked on, but the title is The 3 Reasons Your Wife is Withholding Sex for You. And if you stay to the end, I'll tell you how you can get this ebook. Nanette, thank you so much for being here and taking the time.
Thank you so much, Doug. I'm so excited to be here.
Yeah, this is going to be a great topic. I know the guys are going to be really interested in hearing about it. Before we dive into it, Nanette, tell me a little bit about your experience talking to the men that call up that are interested in our flagship program, which is the activation method.
Well, yeah. So I speak to quite a few guys every day that are definitely interested. And, the first thing is that they see the videos and they relate a lot to the videos. And so then I schedule a call with them and they basically let me know a little bit about their personal situation because, the more I understand about their situation, the better I can provide them with, the right support and the right tools and just point them in the right direction. And
Yeah,
I've noticed,
oh, sorry, go ahead.
no, you go ahead.
No, I was going to say that's fantastic because what guys don't realize is when they get on a call with one of our advisors, let's just say you, Nanette, is that they're getting advice, right? What we're doing is we're screening the guys to make sure it's the right fit for them, right? The program that we have. So the activation method is a methodology to take guys through to help them save their marriage. Now, some guys are in a good marriage already and they just want to make sure it doesn't go bad and want to make it better. Meanwhile,
Exactly.
a lot of guys that are coming in are on the verge of divorce or in a sexless marriage. And so that's why this topic is so timely.
Exactly. Yeah, no, definitely. Like that's exactly what it is. Like some guys are just, it's really bad. And then some guys are like, it's really good, but I'm worried, like, is it going to be bad? Like, how can I be preventative about this?
Yeah. And when you and I were talking offline, we were just talking about, I was having a conversation at an event that I was in Arizona. And somebody brought it up to me that, I think it's 54% of marriages end in divorce. Those aren't great odds. We all know that. And of those, 46% of people are still married. Are they happy? Right. And
Exactly.
we also know that. So if say you're in that subset of people that are still together, right, we also know that over 70% of divorces are initiated by the woman. Right. And
Mhm.
most guys don't realize that their wife has been on the sidelines for a long time, waiting for them to step up. And this is
Exactly.
what we're going to talk about a little bit today. So let's
Yeah.
dive right in. The guys don't want to hear me talk. They want to hear from you. So the three reasons your wife is withholding sex from you. Nanette, what is reason number 1?
So I believe that reason number one is when there are too many expectations around sex.
Okay. Talk to me about that.
So, I mean, I feel like a lot of the guys that I do speak to, like one of the main things is always that, the intimacy is basically gone down. And I mean, that's obviously expected. It's never going to be the same way it was at the beginning, especially when it's been like, let's say 10 plus years or even, 5 years. It's never going to be the same way it was at the beginning, but it's bad when it's just completely gone. And, a lot of guys, they have this expectation that, I'm a man and we should be having sex like this many times a week. And then I feel like for the woman, like when she feels like there's an expectation now where this is something that is almost like a chore, part of her chore is something that she has to do, something on the to-do list, it's not exciting anymore. Like it's just another chore, which is definitely a big put off, really.
Yeah, when we think about it, right? A lot of times, when you start off dating for most couples, it's exciting, it's fresh. You don't know each other as much. There's mystery there. And the man's
Exactly.
really going to be, putting his best foot forward, trying to impress the woman. And then over time, as the marriage continues, what seems to happen more often than not is we as a couple, men and women, become more like roommates, right? And then that polarity is missing. We talk a lot about polarity at the Powerful Man, where the man becomes the nice guy. He's trying to do his best by, either doing more around the house or what have you. And he becomes a little bit subservient in a lot of
Yeah.
cases, or he just throws his hands up and just gives up altogether. Yet he's still expecting that sex to come. Is that, and I know you've talked to a lot of your girlfriends, you're telling me offline about this topic as well. Is that what
Yeah.
you're finding?
Exactly. That's exactly what it is. So a lot of guys will be like, oh, okay, so maybe if I do this and more of that around the house, maybe she'll want to have sex with me. But then that's also making it more transactional rather than anything exciting. And end of the day, sex should be exciting. It should be something where, the woman feels like she's wanted and desired. And, that's basically all it really takes. But when other things get put into the mix, it just kills the mood, and it's not what it should be, really.
Yeah, so one of the things we teach the guys is a woman wants to be seen, heard, and desired, right? You got to have those three elements in the mix. And for a lot of guys, they're like, I see her, I listen to her, and I want to have sex. It doesn't work like that, right? There's a lot of nuances that go into there.
Yeah. And I mean, I feel like, I've spoken to a lot of girlfriends about this, like some of them newlyweds, where they're, also anticipating, like, is it going to go downhill from here? Like, how should we try to keep this as good as it is? And it really is about just feeling loved. Like, end of the day, the woman really just wants to feel the love, the emotional connection, not just a physical connection of, oh, this is something that we have. I mean, really, like, sex is something that both should enjoy, right?
Yeah.
So when it's the guy that is just like expecting it, the woman's not really wanting, she's not going to enjoy it if it's just like, oh, he's expecting it and I just have to go along with it.
Yeah, it becomes a chore, like you're dividing the chores, like, you take out the trash, I'll do the dishes. Which, even guys know that's not sexy. We're smart enough to figure that part out. And I think what happens for a lot of guys is they get caught up and they just don't know what to do. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So they either do one of two things, from my experience in that, is they either keep trying and being needy, right? Which we'll go into in a minute, or they throw their hands up and they just give up and they stop trying to initiate sex, except for in the blue moon that it happens.
Yeah.
And so then now you're both parties, the male and the female, so the husband and the wife, are now both in a complete desert of a bedroom in a sexless marriage.
Yeah. No, yeah, that I hear that a lot. Like a lot of my friends have said similar things as well. And just from the guys that I have spoken to. I mean, the thing is, like, it does kind of get a little bit confusing in a way, because, like, for women, sometimes we think that for a man, it's just more of the act. Like, he just wants to partake in the act. But for the woman, it's much more than the act. Like, I think you've said it before, like, there's a reason why, like, women love chick flicks and, like, romance novels, because we look for like the passion and the excitement. And then for the man, it just feels like it's just the act. Like, once he's done it, like, that's it. He's fine and he can continue whatever he was doing. And that's just not enough for the woman, really. That makes sense.
Makes perfect sense to me. I mean, I teach this, so I deal with this a lot of times. For a lot of guys, this may be new information. And one of the things we talk about well, first, I'll go back to that point, is you're in here at the Powerful Man, the movement. We have a Slack channel. So Slack's a communication board for our running and communicating, and you're in the clients wins section. So one thing I will tell some of the guys is, it doesn't happen all the time, but often when men right the ship, so to speak, right, they become activated. That's why we call it the activation method. And they go
Yeah.
from deactivated, just not going, a roommate with a ring, to being an activated man. They'll say the sex is better than it's ever been before, because now their wife actually feels, even when they were the girlfriend, they didn't feel completely seen, heard, and desired. And now that they do, it allows the woman's feminine energy to be released. And that's when things get really fun. So guys,
Exactly.
there is hope for you.
Exactly. Yeah, no, it's honestly amazing when we do see the client success stories, because it really does completely change from, like, from not even sleeping in the same room, sleeping in separate beds, to then, like having the most exciting romantic evenings together. It's just insane how it can really all just change, just depending how the guy goes about things. And the woman finally then feels, an emotional connection. And that's really what it comes down to, the emotional connection. And like you said, with women, a lot of the times, like we've already gone through, the heartache, and just like we're slowly like building walls up when like things happen. So then it does get to a point where it's just too much and it's just hard to go back to it. Like that's why it's so important to just not wait till the end of, no point, do you know what I mean? Like when it's too late, it might be not too late, but it's just women have already checked out in a way before they've actually done anything or said anything. So it's so important to be ahead of it and to just really try to like understand, your wife, and just sort of get ahead of it really.
Yeah, I mean, we'll go back to the sex topic in a second, but what happens, unfortunately, for us guys is, and the reason we bring this up, guys, is we see this every day, that men that just wait too long, right? They wait too long to make the change. They wait until the divorce papers are already filed, and we get to talk to tens of thousands of men, and oftentimes women. And what happens is, by the time your wife is asking or talking about separation, she has already found and planned an exit. And she's been thinking about this most likely for years. So this isn't
Mhm.
a sudden, it may come across to the man as a sudden out of the blue experience. But she already has an exit plan. She already knows where she's landing. She already has a safe way of getting out. And that's very important to women. And unfortunately for guys, you get these calls all the time, Nanette, where a guy's like, "Oh, I've been listening to the podcast for 6 months or a year," and just didn't take action and thought, "Oh, I'll just wait and hope it gets better."
Yeah. And then they're surprised when it's like, oh, but now she's saying this. And a lot of guys also, they think that like, oh, she's just not into sex and she just doesn't want to, and there's something maybe wrong with her. But it's not always the case. It's just maybe the way the guy's going about it, really, and just
Yeah,
not taking action when they should, when the signs are there. And like watching out for those signs is huge.
yeah, I'll tell you, based on I used to own a gym in Santa Barbara, and I did for 15 years. This is a former life, and in my gym, we had vents, and so it was a private training studio, right? So mostly women we catered to, but the vents would carry the sound up into my office. And I can tell you, with beyond a shadow of a doubt, that the women in your lives, guys, are way more sexual than you think they are. Way more. They're just not experiencing it with you. And there's a reason that 50 Shades of Grey, I think it was 150 million copies. Think about
Yeah.
that for a second. 150 million. It outsold Harry Potter, right? A number of books. And it's not because women don't want this. They're not reading this thinking, "Oh, sex is horrible. I don't want sex, but I'll read a book about, a man being dominant over a willing female participant." Uh-uh.
Yeah. No. And it's just the way you go about it, and it's the way you make the woman feel. That's really all it comes down to, like making her feel desired, making her feel wanted, and just making her feel the passion there. Because I know obviously like after some time that does tend to go down and it dies a little, but finding ways to like recreate that and just bring it back just makes a huge difference.
It does. It does. And through the activation method, we teach the guys, first and foremost, you got to take care of yourself, right? That's the first thing,
Exactly.
and bring the energy and cultivate it within yourself. I also think it's important just to note for you guys out there that for a woman to, well, for women, they need to feel connected before having sex. For us guys, having sex allows us to be connected. Now, they're kind
Exactly.
of, against each other, but if you're able to have the tools to connect with your wife to make her feel seen, heard, and desired, she's connected. She's going to want to have sex potentially, depending on what you're doing. And then you get the connection too, and both people are happy. And then let's move on to number two. So, number one was having
Yeah.
expectations around sex. Let's go on to
Yeah.
number two of three.
Number two is being too needy and
Ooh.
needing it in a way of reassurance and just to prove that all is good. That makes sense.
It makes
Mhm.
complete sense. Oftentimes the way I see this in that, for the guys that are coming through and just guys that I've that I know, um, is they get needy. And when guys become needy, right, they give the power externally to their partner, to their wife. And that's not what your woman's looking for. She doesn't want another kid in the house. Right?
Exactly.
You just become another boy in the house that she needs to take care of, who's needy and bugging her, rather than being her king who can take care of her and that she can surrender into.
Exactly. And just going back to something you did say, so you know how you said that, for the man, he needs to have that he needs to basically have sex to feel connected. And so a lot of the guys that I do speak to, they'll be complaining like, oh, like I just need to have sex to feel connected again. So that comes off as needy, but they don't realize that it's like that, for the woman, like it's not about just, oh, okay, if I have sex with you, all is going to be good. There's a gap where that needs to be filled. Like you are just wanting sex to have sex. Like you have to think of what she's wanting, and you know and take that into consideration as well, and know that she needs that emotional connection too, so that she can then have sex.
Yeah, it's so true. And I think what happens for a lot of guys in their marriage, guys want sex, right? But what a lot of men also really want is their wife to admire them, respect them, look at them again with those eyes of like, this is my man. And,
Yeah.
when that doesn't happen and when the woman says, fine, you're being needy, you're annoying me, therefore I'm just going to have sex to shut you up. For
Mhm.
most men, it's completely unfulfilling as well. And they find
Yeah.
themselves basically going, okay, this is like masturbation with another person in the room, and now I have to deal with the guilt and shame of not satisfying my partner, and this sucks. And so guys will just stop
Yeah,
trying.
exactly. And then it just goes months or sometimes years where there's just no intimacy anymore. And then it's just bad roommates, like you said.
Yeah, I mean, the only difference between you guys listening to this and your wife's brother, right, should be the intimacy. That's the only separation there. Husband and wife are to be intimate, otherwise you guys are just friends. You guys are just friends. And unfortunately for most people out there listening to this, they're not even friends anymore, right? They're just I won't call them frenemies, but they're just not, can't get along. And there's just logistics of the kids, logistics of the work, logistics of paying bills. Maybe you go on vacation and it's kind of fun for a day or two until you start arguing about stuff, and then you
Yeah,
realize this is a roller coaster. I just want to get off, and that's when the problems happen.
exactly. Yeah.
So instead of being needy, and then so we got one and two. So one again, guys, is having expectations around sex. Two in Annette's ebook is you're being too needy. What's the reverse of being needy? Let's just talk about the opposite here.
So, I mean, that's what's so amazing about the activation method, because, it focuses on, the guy just bettering himself and just working to be the best version of himself. And that shows, like, that's going to show your wife is going to see, like, when she notices, like, wow, he's taking care of himself. Wow, he has hobbies. He has his own personality. He has his own life. And I'm just the cherry on top. When it's that, like that just changes everything. And he's not needy. He doesn't need me. He wants me. And that's the difference.
I love how you just lit up when you started talking about that. It's amazing work that you and I get to do because we get to see
Yeah. We
men
see
on
the
the other
results.
side of this.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
it's just amazing, like to see how much of a difference it truly makes. It's just great.
Yeah, it absolutely is. And so, guys, when you're finding yourself in this situation, and I was talking to a gentleman just yesterday about this, Nanette,
Mhm.
is, he was just begging his wife for sex. He's like, come on, I'm doing all this, we're doing that. We're only having sex once or once a week or something like that. Come on, we should have it 3 times. Let's put it on the calendar. Let's make an appointment for it. And just really more or less not begging, but negotiating for
Yeah.
sex.
Making it transactional.
Yep.
Like, look, I did the dishes. Are we going to have sex? Or like, like I've been doing all of this. Are you not going to at least, you know, have sex with me? Like that just kills it.
It's hard, and it's harder for us businessmen, right? Guys that are businessmen are used to this transactional relationship because when you do business, it's transactional, right? If I want something for you, a service or goods, right? Usually I'll just pay you. We agree on the price and the time of delivery. Everybody's happy. And unfortunately, men have started bringing this home into their marriages with these expectations. Some guys even start treating their wives like an employee, which, guys, is a horrible idea, by the way. I shouldn't even have to tell you that, but it happens a lot.
A
And then
lot.
when you throw that in with being needy, now you're treating your wife like an employee, yet you are acting like a child.
Exactly. It's crazy how it just can turn into that. And it's just there's nothing attractive about it. Like it's a put off. It's not like, there's nothing there to make the woman be excited to see him when he walks through the door. And it just kills it all.
Yeah, and what men don't realize, Nanette, is what your woman really wants, guys, is she wants the best version of you. And so what guys will think is, okay, I'm going to take her on a trip. Again, going back to having expectations around sex, you're number one in your book. Or I'm going to get that lake house. I'm going to get a really nice car. I'll get her a nice car. I'll have her go out with her girlfriends. And we start doing these kinds of things, thinking we're going to impress our wives, when really what she wants you to do is work on yourself so you come back a better version of you, right?
Exactly.
Is it true when you talk to your girlfriends I always say that a woman, when she first starts dating or first gets together with a man, she looks at him and can see the man he can become. Is that true?
100%. Yeah, 100%. Like that's what, nowadays, like I have some friends that are, they're single and they've been single for a while because they want to make sure that, does this guy does he take care of him? Like there's so many different points to look at. And now, girls, like they don't want to settle unless they know that this guy's, definitely, got his head on right. And, there's certain points that are there and are, is he someone that is 100% complete? Because you don't want to take on like another child you know and that's why, it's so important because a lot of guys, they lose themselves once they get married and they get comfortable and then they just don't even know who they are anymore. Like a lot of the guys we speak to, they say like, I don't know who I am anymore. I've lost myself, but they're fine with it. And they don't do anything about it until their wife has finally said, you know what, I'm not happy. And that's when they have a wake up call and then they're freaking out and they're like, what do I do? Is it too late? And it's just like, it's sad that it has to come to that where it's like when the wife, says something that they finally like wake up and realize, actually, yes, I have lost myself. And actually, I don't know who I am anymore. But honestly, like the guys that do take that step and like reach out, I honestly admire them so much because it's not easy for them to take that step and put themselves in that position where they are realizing that they need help and asking for it. Like that's not easy for a lot of guys.
It's
So
not. It's not. We
yeah.
notoriously, guys don't ask for directions or ask for help or anything or talk to their buddies. And you're saying a lot of things that are right. In fact, you and I were talking offline again, and I asked you a question. I said, Nanette, how many guaranteed lives do you have? And you said
One.
one. And that's right. Right. Maybe there's more, who knows, but we know we have this one to live. So guys, if you're feeling lost, now is the time to reconnect with yourself. And I would say, and this is a made up statistic, so I do not know this, so don't hold it to me. But when I think about the men that are going through the program right now and have gone, I would say about 95% of the men are able to reconcile within their marriages, which is great. Now, the other 5% come out of the other side of that much better men, right? They may have saved it. It was too late. But now when they go into
Yeah,
their next relationship, they know what to do and they know themselves at such a deep level that, like the women that you're talking about, they're now an activated man, right?
exactly. I mean, I always say, regardless, like going through the powerful man, like your life will just forever be changed. And just that is enough. Like a lot of the guys come in and they're just not in a good place and they're just not happy with, it's weird. It's like they entered, like, they got married and then it's like, they close their eyes and open their eyes. And all of a sudden it's like 10 years down the line and they don't even know how they got there. And they're almost like they're on autopilot and they've got no personality left and they've just lost themselves. And it's like, that's what's great about, the activation method, because they're activated again. And, regardless of what the outcome is, at least they're living, they're getting those tools to basically start living their life the right way, and, the way that they'll be true to themselves and find themselves and be happy again.
Yeah. And guys, when you approach your woman, instead of approaching her with the needy energy or the transactional energy, when you approach her with the energy of abundance and you are on fire in life, you're on fire in business, you're on fire in your personal life, you're confident, you know who you are, you're the lighthouse, you're unshakable, and you're living your best life. The powerful man, excuse my language, you have kids in the car, but we call it your fuck yes life. When you're
Mhm.
living that life, she wants to be along for the ride, right? And she wants to
Exactly.
live hers too, and she gets
Yeah.
to, and you can be the leader to help her get there.
Exactly. Honestly, there's nothing more attractive than a man that is 100% complete and is confident in himself, and just you're excited to be around him because of what he, everything that's going on with him. Like, just his energy feels good when he's 100% in a good place. And it's nothing more exciting than being close to him and being around him. Like, you feel lucky to be around him and enjoy it. And it's just, the rest is up.
Absolutely. Well, then I'm very conscious of your time, and I appreciate you taking the time out of the day. So, guys, if you want number three, on Nanette's ebook, you can actually kind of pre-reserve it. It's free, right? Nanette's giving it away to you guys. But if you want to get on the reserve list to get it, just email VIP at thepowerfulman.com. So that's VIP at thepowerfulman.com, and just say, I want Nanette's ebook when it comes out. Nanette's going to be putting a list together, and she'll get it out to you. And she might even give you guys a rough draft before, it gets all marked up and everything, so you guys can start implementing these today. But one thing I want you guys to take out of this is, if you are deactivated, and that's what we call it, basically, if you're feeling lost, you're feeling like you're not sure what to do next, you're feeling like, I just don't know how to make this decision. It's just, my wife's not happy, I'm not happy. Get activated. If you don't go through the activation method, that's totally cool, but find a way, guys. Life is short. This is your shot and your opportunity at this game we call life, and I want you to have the best for you. Nanette, thank you so much for taking the time. It was an awesome conversation.
It was so nice. It was so great to chat to you. Thank you so much.
Guys, have an amazing day. And as we always say, in the moment of insight, take massive action. All right, guys, that's a wrap for this episode. But as I always say, in the moment of insight, take massive action. You see, there are two types of men that listen to a podcast like this. Those that go on from one podcast or show to another, just hoping things are going to change, and realizing that they're going to be in the same place month after month, year after year. You see, I was this guy, so I completely get it. You may just not be ready. But there's also a second man that listens to a show just like this. And this is a guy who takes massive action so they can shorten the learning curve, compress time, and get results to be the wolf. See, wolf is an acronym for wise, open, loving, and fierce. Now, ask yourself, which one am I? And just be honest with yourself there. And there's no judgment on my end, but if you're ready to move from deactivated deer mode, which is defend, excuse, explain, react, to activated wolf, wise, open, loving, and fierce, then go over to thepowerfulman.com/grow and go there now. In fact, I'll make it super easy for you. I will even put the link right in the description here, so you can just click it and go over there now to learn more. Guys, in the moment of insight, take massive action. Go from deactivated to activated, because like I said, life is too short for average. And I'll see you on the next episode.